So you got photovoltaic panels, 100 watts each. They only need 100 watts, so we got a little bit over, especially at the end of the day here. The sun is low on the horizon. And there we are, gathered around, paying homage to the power of physics. And there is the peltier device. And there it goes. Looking at the storm. Says we're getting about 4 watts. 4.5 watts, right?
Volts.
Volts. Oh, 4.5 volts.
Plenty to light us up.
Well, then you would need to have at least 1 amp to get 4 watts, right?
All right. Copy that.
So it is another exhibit for Rosebud Continuum, which has the ground mount solar there and the pole mount solar there. Just put up the two teepees over there, the gopher tortoise hole over there, the school bus that will be converted into a tiny home one day, and
He's got power, man.
he has power.
Hold on. I got to twist them together.
It was going. We had it, man.
I'll put them back on.
And
There it
there's
goes.
power. Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
the
we
LED
got
strip
it.
is lighting. Look at that.
Look at that, man.
So this illustrates the principle of energy storage using gravity as your friend. So what is happening is during the day, these solar photovoltaic panels are pumping water up to the barrel up there, and that holds about 30 gallons. And this is about 1 gallon per minute as it goes down to the peltier. So for about 30 minutes, we will get about, we believe, 4 watts. And that'll happen for, so actually we're only going to get then, wait a minute, if it's a half an hour at 4 watts, we're getting 2 watts basically over that half hour.
2 watt hours, right.
2 watt hours
Yep.
is what we're going to get, which is fine for the LED strip. It'll be fun at night, so for about a half an hour we'll see.
Well, we're gonna
LED
build.
strip
We're gonna build a
lighting.
box so you can see it.
Nice.
So we have the whole. We have a plan for it.
Now at this scale, obviously it is not the solution for people, but water storage is a major solution around the world, using big reservoirs and using passive, or rather using photovoltaic pumping during the day or wind pumping, and then releasing that down a hydroelectric turbine. This is just a demonstration of the principle here at Rosebud. It is not a recommendation that everybody build a system like this, because all that effort and money to get 2 watts or 4 watts is not of course the way to do it. Batteries work much better in that regard, but this is a water battery, and it illustrates a very important principle, because at scale this is the way to store solar energy at scale. This is not at scale, this is a demo using the peltier. And it's interesting to know that this was hand wound coils and a handmade peltier wheel down there. This is totally cool. And it acts as a fun water feature. So this is going to be one of 2. There's going to be another one out on that part of the property in the Arboretum that is going to be on a giant tortoise pond that'll have chinampas, or Aztec aquaponics, growing on it, and a lot of native vegetation, as well as food production. And the central feature will be also an energy system like this, so that it's lit at night, which will be very nice to see. So I think we are excited by this. And would you introduce yourselves to, there's 2 people watching. I don't know who they are.
Matthew Taylor.
Oh, one of them is my mother. She says that's great. Yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourself again.
I'm Matthew Taylor. This was my crazy idea, and I built the generator in my garage and put this thing on the side of my house to test it out and get it working. And we just assembled it for the first time right here at Rosebud. With a little more height and a little more water.
That's right. So what were you doing at home? How many gallons? And what was your
So
head?
I was actually using this 5-gallon bucket with a hole in the bottom of it now.
Proof of concept.
Proof of concept, right? That's how I got the 1.6 gallons per minute, flow rate, by literally filling a 5-gallon bucket and starting to stop.
Right. This is the magic that happens to rosebud.
Yeah.
That's right.
So my mother says, hi, Matthew. And then there's Buck. And a lot of cool ideas you guys have planned. You were telling me this is a prototype for a system that's going to go over there. And why don't you tell them about that?
Me or
Either other.
well, I'll bring Valerie in. Yeah, the whole concept is we want to incorporate more aspects of rosebud here. So this is just one of them, which is we want to use solar for more pumps. We have a really good friend who knows about building ponds, so we're going to build a huge pond. So this scale, if it was 300 gallons, or it was, how many gallons were we talking about?
1,000.
1,000 gallons, and then 110 on top. If we have the right height, and then we also incorporate wind along with several solar panels. We believe we could have more pumps.
And you're going to do a vertical turbine for the wind this time? It's
That's
going to
correct.
be on the vertical axis.
But along with that, though, what we also want to do is incorporate a food forest, aquaponics, and then TH, you're telling me about what can we do? What do you call that?
The Chinampa, the Aztec
Right. So on the
aquaponics
top,
system,
we want to
floating gardens.
all the aspects. Now, I'm the arborist, so what we're going to do is have trees around that are going to be fed through the aquaponics.
Nye, don't lean on the panel. I can't take your weight. Nye, off the panel now. Thank you, son.
That's what we're going to do.
Can't take your weight.
So the whole idea is to take everything we have at Rosebud and have a feature, and this is just the beginning. So now we get the little one going, and then we're going to have a huge one out there where we can incorporate the other things, which are, you know, having a nice arboretum with trees and having like a food forest and having aquaponics and solar, wind, and hydroelectric battery storage.
It'll be
That's the whole thing.
what is it called?
And
One-stop shopping.
We want to use your glass crusher in order
yes.
to use the castings
To use the trashcrete.
Right.
Right.
So it's going to be it all. That's the dream, and this is where it starts. But it's trial and error. You know, we need to adjust a couple things, but we've got some lights going, so it's the beginning.
There's a toy in there, I saw it.
Yeah, and so here's what it looks like on the inside. It's a hand-wound motor, a generator. It's got a bunch of copper coils around some air cores, and then it's got a permanent magnet in the middle that spins. And then this small circuit board with a capacitor, probably to smooth out the variable voltage.
It is an alternator.
Alternator.
We're generating AC current, so I've got positive and negatives reversed, and then we use a rectifier.
Okay.
To turn
That's
it
the
into,
little black thing right there is the rectifier?
The rectifier is this.
Right before the capacitor.
4 diodes.
Okay.
That makes a bridge rectifier that takes our AC current, turns it into DC. But because it's alternating, it's still pulsing.
Right.
So our capacitor gathers that pulse and evens it out. So we have a nice DC current.
What's on the other side of it? Looks like there's another.
So
the bridge rectifier there.
right, then our capacitor, and that's just resistance
Okay.
To balance that out across the loads when there's nothing there.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you very much for that demonstration and that explanation. And I will see you guys in the next one. Off to teach a class right now. Thanks. Bye. All right. Now we got to go.